I'm always delighted to be with Saul News, who's been such a leader in the conservative movement and the Republican Party.
Welcome to the Saul's Newsstand News Rewind for October the 6th, 2023. The Hill reports, shocked Republicans look to pick up the pieces post-McCarthy. House Republicans still absorbing the shock of Representative Kevin McCarthy's unprecedented ouster as Speaker are being thrust into a new Speaker's election that's forcing them to grapple with how to move forward. There's no consensus on who should succeed McCarthy, nor is it clear a pick will emerge by next Wednesday, the date set for an internal election. Former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich didn't hold back when he gave his opinion of the incident on Fox News.
Well, first, I think it's a very sad day because I think Kevin McCarthy is one of the most talented leaders I've ever worked with. I think that he accomplished an amazing amount for having a small majority and having to take on both the Senate and the White House. And I think this is really a tragic outcome. This was a leader who both gained seats in 2020, gained seats in 2022, increased the number of women members, increased the number of veterans, increased the number of minority members, and he had a vision for a better future. And let's be clear here, Sean. If the University of Georgia Bulldogs, who are the #1 team in the country right now, if you started a game and 4 of the members of the offensive squad decided they were actually on the Alabama side and began tackling your own people, you probably get them off the field. Well, think about what we saw today. 4% decided they were so morally superior, so intellectually pure, so patriotically better, that they would side with the Democrats, and that's what they did, in order to defeat the entire Republican House caucus. 96% of the Republicans voted for McCarthy. 4% voted against him. From my position as a longtime Republican activist, they're traitors. All 8 of them should, in fact, be primaried. They should all be driven out of public life. What they did was to go to the other team to cause total chaos. We ought to be focusing on Biden. We ought to be focusing on the economy. We ought to be focusing on the border. Instead, you're going to get a week or 10 days of the media focusing on Republican disarray. It's an astonishingly destructive behavior by a handful of egocentric people who think they're superior to 96% of the conference.
For the narrow GOP majority that already endured a 15-ballot Speaker election and a wealth of intra-party squabbling in just the last 9 months, the question is not only who can unite Republicans, but who would even want the job. Americans for Tax Reform launches the Sustainable Budget Project. Americans for Tax Reform has launched the Sustainable Budget Project, a new venture that monitors state government spending and tracks which states have or have not enacted sustainable budgets. The project defines a sustainable budget as one that limits the pace of state government spending to lower than the rate of population growth plus inflation, which accounts for the average taxpayer's ability to pay for government spending. The project looks at the changes in state government spending over the past decade and moving forward. The findings illustrate how, in most states, overspending is the problem, not undertaxation. According to the project analysis, American taxpayers could have been spared more than $2 trillion in taxes and debt if federal and state governments had simply grown no faster than the rate of population growth plus inflation during the previous decade. We would strongly encourage you to learn more about the project by visiting atr.org/budgetproject. And finally, the Daily Wire reports, Bidenomics? Private sector job growth shrinks to 3-year low. U.S. companies slowed hiring last month far more than economists predicted, according to data released in the ADP National Employment Report on Wednesday. September hires mark the weakest month for hiring since January of 2021. The slow performance comes as interest rates remain elevated as the Federal Reserve works to curb high inflation. The president's flagging performance on the economy has motivated some of his allies to push him to drop the Bidenomics message, arguing that attaching Biden's name to an unpopular issue is not helping the president with voters. And that concludes your Saul's Newsstand News Rewind for October the 6th, 2023. For more political news faster, visit saulsnews.com.